12,207. Now, that is not just a random metric. That's the number of GitHub stars for the awesome GPT Image 2 repository, pulled right from OSS Insight's real-time analytics. To put that into perspective, when an open-source project hits this level of engagement, it's not playing around. It establishes serious, undeniable authority. It tells us for sure that FreestyleFly's project isn't just some niche weekend hobby. It is a heavyweight, community-validated framework that real developers are actively relying on to solve real problems.
Which brings us to the core struggle that, let's be honest, pretty much every AI developer faces right now. You start with this amazing idea, but within minutes, you're completely drowning in messy terminals, disconnected scripts, and totally unstructured text prompts. You completely lose track of which prompt actually generated that one good result. Your agents absolutely refuse to talk to each other, and the whole system just feels incredibly fragile. So the big question is, how do you turn all this AI chaos into predictable, industrial-grade code? How do we actually build systems that won't break the second we look away?
To answer that, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 logical steps. Think of it like a project README. First, taming the AI chaos. Second, prompting as code. Third, unifying the agent workspace. Fourth, the monetization stack. And finally, the future of development.
Okay, starting with Section 1, taming the AI chaos and moving beyond the hobbyist phase.
So, for the longest time, the AI industry was entirely obsessed with a very basic question. Can it actually make an image, or can it write a script? But we are outgrowing that era, and fast. Getting an output? That's no longer the hard part. Controlling and scaling that output is where the real engineering challenge lies today. Just look at this real-time geographical data from OSS Insight. A staggering 95% of the engagement for this repository comes from China, with smaller fractions from Brazil and the US. This shows us how this industrialization trend has just exploded in the Asian tech market. It's a massive signal that structured AI workflows aren't just a fad. They're becoming a global engineering standard, battle-tested by large-scale enterprise environments.
So what exactly is the friction these developers are trying to eliminate? Well, if you look at the current workflows, we're dealing with prose-style, totally unstructured prompts that honestly act more like poetry than code. Developers are out there trying to build on top of this massive pile of isolated, unreusable community examples. We're juggling all these disconnected command-line coding agents, and our API keys, our usage costs, our logs, they're just scattered across a dozen different browser tabs and hidden system folders. If you're trying to scale AI tasks across automated systems, it's a total nightmare.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, prompting as code and the awesome OpenGPT Image 2 paradigm.
Enter Awesome GPT Image 2. This is FreestyleFly's flagship repository, and it serves as the definitive engineering-led solution to the chaos of unstructured image generation we just talked about. It introduces this brilliant concept called prompt as code. Basically, it's the practice of compressing those messy prose-style AI prompts into structured, highly reusable protocols. Instead of writing a paragraph and just crossing your fingers that the AI guesses what you want, you use an atomic schema. You explicitly separate out the subject, the lighting, the materials, the layout, and the visual details. When you start treating prompts like composable software architecture, they instantly turn into reliable assets that you can use for autonomous agents and massive batch workflows. It's a real game changer.
And the best part? This repository isn't just some theoretical white paper. It gives you a comprehensive library of over 500 reverse-engineered cases, breaking prompts down into highly specific industrial templates. You've got 73 cases dedicated just to UI and interfaces, so you can control page hierarchy and screenshot textures. There are 52 cases for charts and infographics to manage data structures and arrows, 86 cases for posters, and 41 for products and e-commerce. The value of this structured categorization is just immense. You're not guessing anymore. You're just pulling a highly specific, tested template for your exact business need. Now, how does this actually fit into a developer's daily routine? Well, the repository features this super slick NPM agent skill integration. By running a single simple terminal command, you can inject this entire style library directly into your local coding agents. That means your autonomous tools like Claude Code or Codex can programmatically pull these exact visual styles via terminal commands. It completely automates the prompt engineering process. You literally just plug it in and let the agent do the heavy lifting.
Moving on to Section 3, unifying the agent workspace with WeSite.
Okay, so if Awesome GPT Image 2 is how we tame visual prompting, WeSite is the desktop application designed to tame your local coding agents. Think about the frustrating reality of old terminal workflows for a second. Messy command line windows, disjointed API keys, scattered model routing, and logs that just vanish into thin air. Contrast that with the WeSite workspace. It gives you this incredibly clean, unified desktop console. You get a visual chat interface with dedicated tool panels, one-click agent setup, and even instant messaging integration with platforms like Fichu. It takes all those invisible, highly technical back-end processes and bundles them into a beautiful, manageable Visual Studio.
What is truly mind-blowing about WeSite, though, is its interoperability. It doesn't lock you into one single ecosystem. It supports an absolutely massive roster of local agent engines. We're talking Claude Code, Codex, Chemocode, OpenClaw, Hermes Agent, QuenCode, DeepSeek TUI, OpenCode, the whole shebang. You get to manage all these major models and engines from a single pane of glass and seamlessly switch between them based on whatever specific task your development requires. Plus, because we're talking about industrial-grade development here, metrics absolutely matter. WeSite includes a built-in AI runtime dashboard that gives you vital telemetry. You can instantly track your time to first token, your tokens per second, tool latency, the exact steps your agent took, and crucially, your overall token usage and cost. This is the exact kind of data that is usually buried or completely hidden in standard terminal outputs. WeSite puts it front and center so you can actually optimize your workflows and keep your budgets in check.
Section 4. The monetization stack. Turning open source into a product.
You know, it's one thing to build a fantastic open source tool, but how do you actually turn it into a sustainable product? The source code here reveals a really clever step-by-step Supabase migration workflow, and it's basically a masterclass in how FreestyleFly built a monetization layer right on top of these open source foundations. Step 1. Set up user credits using Google OAuth. Step 2. Integrate membership billing and Stripe checkout records. Step 3. Layer in Alipay for web payment configuration, which caters perfectly to that massive Asian user base we saw earlier. And finally, Step 4. Activate a paid community with protected QR onboarding. If you're a developer watching this, you are looking at a literal blueprint for layering a viable multi-region business model over a generative AI project.
And that brings us to Section 5, the future of development.
When we zoom out and look at both awesome GPT Image 2 and WeSite together, the trajectory of the broader tech industry becomes crystal clear. I want to share a quote directly from the repository's vision statement because it hits the nail right on the head. After GPT Image 2 became widely available, AI image generation moved from "can it make an image?" to "can it make stable, controllable, reusable images?" But listen, this isn't just about images. This applies to literally all AI outputs. The future belongs to structured, controllable, and highly observable AI workflows. We are officially graduating from the experimental hacking phase and stepping right into the era of true AI software engineering.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. As the entire industry shifts away from this chaotic trial-and-error prompt hacking and moves heavily towards structured prompt as code and unified telemetry-rich workspaces, is your development environment actually ready for an autonomous agent teammate? Think about it. If you're still relying on a messy text document full of random prompts and a chaotic terminal window, it might just be time to take a page out of FreestyleFly's playbook and industrialize your workflow.